Thank you. Wow. There are a lot of very young faces in the crowd tonight. Well, startup companies like young people exist best in an environment where they are nourished by conditions like courage, determination, creativity, and given those kinds of conditions, they can really thrive. So thank you very much for sacrificing your dinner for this light chat between Mrs. Lam and Jack. I promise you the next few minutes will be worth waiting for. Maybe to kick things off, we will put our special guest of honor in the hot seat by throwing her the first question for this chat. And I will ask you a question which is a variation on this evergreen theme of public sector money versus private capital. It goes that public money, taxpayers' money, along with the social obligation, along with constituencies' interests, can they compete with private capital that is motivated purely by profit in the nurturing of entrepreneurship and innovation?
Well, first of all, thank you very much, Eugene. I'm already in the hottest seat in town, so I don't mind your question. Well, first of all, let me say that I have really enjoyed the presentation because since taking over my job on the 1st of July, I told Jack Ma, I have really a new perspective about the creativity and innovation in this city. So I have visited quite a lot of innovative projects, startups in Science Park, Cyberport, and other places. And this evening, I have this experience of listening to even more wonderful and sophisticated startup presentations. That is why I said that we, as a public sector, also want to use some public money to kickstart and to promote more startup and innovation in Hong Kong. But as Eugene pointed out, using public money, which is taxpayers' money, does come with a lot of constraints because of the accountability, because of the rules and the regulations. Sometimes they are good, sometimes they are bad. But that's why I think some form of partnership between public and private will be ideal. For example, how much money, Nick Yang? We have an innovation venture fund, 2 billion. We have a 2 billion innovation venture fund, which is to partner with venture capital companies. If they find a good idea they want to pitch in, then we put in part of the fund to provide that project. So all the risk assessment thing will be done by the venture capital company, and we just put in the additional capital in order to turn that very good idea into reality. So I certainly like to have this sort of jump-starter program collaborated with the government so that we can achieve that sort of public-private partnership that I have been talking about. Thank you.
Well, thank you, Mrs. Lam. A few opening remarks also by Jack. So, Jack, you are a Yangtze River crocodile. You are one of the most successful entrepreneurs in the world and a budding movie star. So you will... budding movie star, right? And in your experience, looking at so many startup companies and enterprises and ideas, can you tell us 3 of the most critical elements that can ensure your success, particularly from taking an idea from concept to enterprise to success?
Yeah, thank you very much. I enjoyed the show and the pitch. Great. It reminds me that 18 years ago that we went out raising money from venture capitalists. Unfortunately, we were rejected by all the venture capitalists. But we're still talking like that every day. I think the advice that I've got free is first you should be optimistic.
本视频有可能会改变您的一生。 改革开放以来，第一批个体户发了，第一批炒地皮的发了，第一批买原始股的发了，第一批搞互联网的发了，第一批做网商的发了。为什么这么多第一批发了？因为他们都凭借眼光和行动力，牢牢地抓住了时代赋予的商机。如今还有什么第一批轮到我们？全球经济每隔3到5年就会有一次重大机遇出现。恭喜您，互联网加的时代到来，您有机会成为第一批云商。只要您牢牢把握住，您也会成为第一批富起来的人，从而改变命运。
当今社会，手机已经成为人们生活的一部分。你在玩手机的同时，是否想过利用一部手机就能住家创业，无需进货发货？很多普通人通过我们实现了自己的财富人生。我们有高效的运营团队，自动人脉倍增系统，100%成交客户的沟通方法，手把手教你如何运作。如果此时的你没有创业方向，如果此时的你想改变生活现状，如果此时的你有着赚钱的梦想，欢迎咨询微信9086-05026908605026。真正的精彩在后面等着你。
Always optimistic. A great entrepreneur is optimistic for the future. And you have to ask what problem you can solve and what the way, how you solve it that's different from the others, why you can do better than the others. Second is that you have to find a group of people working together with you. Those people believe the same vision. Those people coming to join you not because it's a job. It's because they believe the dream, they believe the mission, and they believe the vision. And don't have to find, there's no best people in the world. The best people is always working with you in your team. And third, what price you're going to pay for it, what kind of how you would sacrifice. Do not think what I will get. You have to ask what I will give. Should I win in 3 years or 10 years? If you have a great idea, prepare for 10 years. You're lucky if you win in 1 year. But most people will not have this opportunity. So these are 3 things. Optimist with a vision to solve the problem in your own way. Working with a good team and train the team, work with the team, the team also will train you. Next is what you will sacrifice for that. And how long you prepare for that. Don't say, I want to win next month. I will succeed next year. Impossible. Forget about it. If you prepare for 3 days, if you think, I will win this in 3 years, prepare for 5 years. My first round money I gathered from 18 founders, $50,000 US. We thought this $50,000 can last for 10 months. We even count every cent we spent, but only last less than 4 months. We're almost bankrupt. So these are the things that I give you advice.
Can I just add? I used to share this with my civil service colleagues, how to be a sort of good public servant. It's also 3 words. 1 is passion. 2nd is commitment. 3rd is empathy. So I'm sure you all understand why you need passion and commitment in your job. But what strikes me at least the 3 presentations that when I came in, I have this chance of listening, they also have this empathy. That sit and shower is out of empathy. That one day we'll become old. We don't want our private parts to be touched. So that's why we better design something that could avoid that sort of unpleasant experience. And for the Farm 66, it was also out of concern for what people eat. And of course, this final one about surgical robotics is to have more higher precision in surgery so that the mortality rate will be lower and the surgery will be more successful. So I think in doing innovative technology and startups, if the creators also have this sense of, this strong sense of empathy, it would perhaps also be a recipe of success.
But what about what Jack just mentioned, the 3 things, optimism, vision, and perseverance, I guess. There's no shortage of optimism. A lot of people are very optimistic. and vision. Many people are visionaries. But what about that perseverance? Can a partnership such as the public-private partnership wait for 10 years for return?
Everybody wants some quick win, but unfortunately, in reality, you really need to wait. So I would say that, echoing what Jack said, if you have a good team who could provide that mutual support, that moral support, that strong sense of encouragement, that will perhaps help you to persevere in the midst of difficulties. I don't think we are born to succeed. We really have to work hard at it. And sometimes you have to spend a bit more time in order to get to that final destination.
Yeah. When you have this idea to do something to help the others, the very important is that you have to ask, what will you give up, not what will you get. Only when you know what will you give up, then you will be able to get something. And for the public thing, my idea is that for the government, if you cannot give in money to those startups, why not reduce the tax for them?
I'm doing that.
That's right. This is what I heard from Governor Day. I think Hong Kong actually is a great place. And the policy she just mentioned, that I hear very few cities in China that's doing that. And reducing, we have a lot of, in China, a lot of big cities giving policies and giving tax good conditions for only big companies. But if we can give like startups 3 years no tax or 5 years 50% tax, then we're giving them at least more time to go. At least the government is supporting them. This is what Hong Kong is doing, and I think will help a lot.
What else do we need? What else do we need apart from low taxes and funding? What other aspects of infrastructure do we need?
Let me say it this way. As a business, both governments should build up the environment, and also the entrepreneurs. You have to know that first you have to reach the market. You have to be able to reach the money, reach the technology, reach the talents you need. So for reach the market, Hong Kong is a great place. You can reach the China mainland. You can reach it outside the world. Today, using the internet, you can reach every corner of the world. And the second, you have to reach the money, inclusive financing. Hong Kong is good. Be able to reach a lot of venture capitalists, a lot of money. And third, to reach the technology. Right? This is also today because of the technology is getting more and more inclusive. So be able to do that. And the third, reach the talents you need. But a lot of startups, they always love to talk about, well, I've got a great VP vice president from multinational companies. This is me. I don't like this kind of. Because as I said, if you are, today you are only a tractor, don't try to put a Boeing 747 engine inside. It will destroy you. You should find the people that is suitable to your company. I have hired a lot of vice presidents from big companies in the early days of Alibaba. They almost destroyed my company. Right. I only have $5 million totally. The guy came in with a marketing plan for $12 million. So I said, how can you have $12 million? He said, I have never made a plan below $20 million. So find the right person, and the government and also should have a lot of training courses for these entrepreneurs to teach them and train them, and also a lot of stuff. That's something.
Well, of course, from the government's perspective, I will perhaps just add a couple of other things. One is, of course, leadership. If any economy, any city really wants to succeed in innovation and technology, inevitably in the current globalized environment, you do need some government leadership. So I hope that in my first policy address, in the chapter on Hong Kong's economy, I have put financial services to the end and innovation and technology as my first sector that I want to develop in order to impress upon a lot of people that Hong Kong is now very serious about innovation and technology. Second thing is about culture. It would be very disappointing to see that when young people are now very innovative, very willing to take some risks, but their parents said, no, son, daughter, you better go into a paid job instead of running all this risk. That would be very damaging to the young people who have this motivation to do innovation and technology. But cultural change is not something the government or this government could do. So it relies on every one of you in the audience to give that strong support and encouragement to people around you who are willing to commit to this sort of work.
Well, it's not just culture, right? It's also some of the practicalities of living, working, and existing in what, frankly speaking, is one of the world's most expensive cities. You might be happy to know that... Have you seen this, by the way? This is a little souvenir that the organizers are giving out outside the conference. So there's a big question on a billboard outside. If you have $1 million US, what would you use that $1 million to do? Pick blue if you're going to use that for buying yourself a good holiday, pay off your debts, buy an apartment. Pick white if you're going to use that to start a venture. What do you think the result of the poll is? Everybody who's gone through the entrance registration has picked up one of these. So what do you think the result of the poll is?
Well, I suppose it should be predominantly white. Why do you need 1 million for a holiday?
Yeah, if you do the poll in this room, they'll probably pick up $1 million to do a business, right? If you're on the street, I don't know.
Well, you'll be, it's actually half and half.
Half and half.
Right, so there are half, I guess half the audience are practical minded. They do want that $1 million holiday, but the other half are trying to invest that money in startups. So there is hope that this culture that you've been talking about is changing. So moving on to other questions on the to-do list. What else is there on your to-do list for the term in terms of nurturing innovation?
I have written 49,000 words. You want me to repeat it here? No, seriously, I think Hong Kong is now facing a period when opportunities and challenges coexist. So it is for us to really seize those opportunities and bring Hong Kong to a new height. I actually don't like this title. It has disappeared, which is on China versus Silicon Valley. China is too big to be put in this contest, but there's something called the Bay Area versus the Silicon Valley now, because in the Guangdong, Hong Kong, Macau Bay Area, both the central authorities and ourselves and the Guangdong government have highlighted the potential to develop an international innovation and technology center, which we hope would exceed Silicon Valley. And as Jack said, this particular Bay Area has a lot of unique advantages. And one which does not exist anywhere is one country, two systems. We have the Hong Kong system with all its traditional and unique strengths. And then we have very strong powerhouses in the Pearl River Delta in terms of advanced manufacturing. And of course we have the market, 1.3, 1.4 billion people in the mainland. So I hope that next time we'll focus on the potential of the Bay Area versus the American Silicon Valley.
Jack, do you think this is going to be the game changer?
Yeah, I think that Hong Kong, to me, I think it's a place with a huge opportunity. We talked for 4 times since Mr. Lam became the chief executive. We discuss, every time we discuss about the technology, we talk about smart cities, how to enable the young people. We just talk about how can we enable more small business, enter startups. So I think Hong Kong the city has a lot of problems that any city have, but Hong Kong has a lot of great advantage that most cities don't have. And the Hong Kong policy, which China does not have, Hong Kong can, I think, encouraging the reason why Hong Kong is so successful in the past 50 years is Hong Kong is very open-minded, accommodate all kinds of culture. And today, I think the culture should also keep that. Welcome people from all over the world, joining Hong Kong, and young people in Hong Kong do not focus your eyes only in Hong Kong. Global, Europe, America, China, anywhere there's opportunity, go there, build up, and bring the ideas coming back. So I really think it's a great time, especially I've got a great chief executive. She believes in technology. She believes in the future. And we've been talking deeply last time in Hangzhou, in Hong Kong, in her office. And I think Alibaba are extremely interested in coming to Hong Kong. And it's, you know, market-wise, it's not a big. But I think joining the talents here, the people here, the young people, we invited a lot of young people in Hong Kong to China, to Hangzhou headquarters. We think they're great, brilliant. They're excellent. When they come to Hangzhou, they change their mind. So we think, why not we come here? We can change more young people. This is why we feel very optimistic for the hope of Hong Kong.
I also want to ask, I also want to quickly ask Jack, so from all the trends of technology and innovation and business ideas that you've seen, can you give the audience some tips on what is hot and what is not right now?
Yeah, what is hot, what is not. Don't focus on the things that is hot. Right. So one of the reasons why we succeed 18 years ago, because internet was not hot at that time. E-commerce was so cold. Nobody believed it, but we believe it. We don't care what other people say. We think it has a future. We think it will help people. So we started. So if you want to pick up something that is hot, when everybody say yes, there's no chance for you. So be unique. Use your mind. Think why you can do better. Why you can do different. Why you can last for 10 years. While the other people can only last for 1 year. So the last man standing, Savvy, we always discuss, but when Savvy joined Alibaba, we almost have nothing. The thing we say, last man standing, we know 90% of the internet companies will disappear year 2004. But if we can survive till 2006, we win. So if you have a competitor, don't worry about a competitor. It's not about a competitor you should worry about. It's about the customer you should worry about. If the customer follow you, you always have chance. Right? So this is what when people think it is artificial intelligence, yeah, it is hot. So what? I never worry about the things the Prime Minister worry about, the President worry about, the Chief Executives worry about. I only worry about the things I worry about. That is the entrepreneur you have to know. Don't read too much newspaper. Focus on, read what your customer want. That's entrepreneur, that's it.
Okay, I'll throw the same question to Mrs. Lam. So instead of saying what's hot and what's not, public money comes with some, like you say, obligations. So should there be a direction into what kinds of industries or innovation that you want to see within Hong Kong?
Well, Hong Kong, of course, practices free and open economy. And we do not really pick winners or losers. But as I just mentioned, in a highly competitive global environment, the government does need to give some policy directions and provide the environment that is conducive to the development of certain sectors. So, for example, now that we have decided that in addition to our traditional pillars of industry like financial services and professional services, we'll go into innovation and technology, we'll go into creative industries. So the job of the government is to provide all the necessary conditions and environments to nurture these new economic activities. But that doesn't mean that we will go straight into picking a particular company that we will give preferential treatment. No, because Hong Kong prides itself on operating on a level playing field. There's so many things we could do. For example, innovation and technology. I have outlined 8 broad areas that we need to do. One is we need to invest ourselves. That is the public sector, investing in innovation and technology, investing in R&D in universities. We also need to encourage enterprises to invest. So apart from that tax reduction to reduce the burden on startups and SMEs that Jack has mentioned, I got another tax incentive. That is to give a high level of tax deduction for R&D expenditure by corporations. There are other things we need to do is to nurture talents. If we need more time to nurture local talents, then we need to bring in outside talents. And Hong Kong remains very attractive to a lot of expatriates and people from mainland. So this is an area that we need to do more in terms of our immigration policies. We also need to look within the government whether there are any obstacles within the government that will impede the development of innovation and technology. So I've set out 2 areas. One is to review some of the more obsolete legislation. The other is to open up the government data, because in all the projects that we have seen, it's all big data. You need a lot of data in order to develop that new approach of doing things. So these are all the things that I feel that the government really needs to demonstrate stronger determination. And I can promise people in the audience who are also very enthusiastic about innovation technology that we are very serious, we are very determined, and we will do this job well. At least in this term of the government. I can't promise for future governments.
So your role really is to be a promotilator, to combine facilitator and promoter. Okay, well, it's time to release everybody back to dinner. So you've been a great audience. Thank you very much.
Yeah, can I give in one more? I just want to echo the Chief Executive about, as an entrepreneur, my last tip is that don't wait for the environment to be ready. Don't wait for all the policy ready. When everything's ready, there's no opportunity for you. You have to move faster before the government take action. You know, if I do this, if the government say everything's ready, you should move to the other area, because there's no chance for you. All right? Remember that. Thank you.
Thank you, Jack. Thank you, Mrs. Lam. Please give another round of applause to Carrie Lam, Ms. Jack Ma.